Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video, of course, after pulling my boy INT Majin Vegeta. I even slapped a sticker on him. I mean, the sticker's alright. It's alright. I kind of like the saying aura, but it's alright. Of course, we got to do a showcase on him. So as always, if you have been enjoying the content, smash that like button. And if you are new, consider hitting that big red subscribe button. All your support is very much appreciated. Now, you will notice one thing with the team, which is we are running them on a 170% lead team. We are going to be running the SSJ4 LR Vegeta as the lead. Now, here's why. I was going to do all of this in one video, but it would have been far too long considering all of the aspects I want to see of MV. So I'm going to split them up into two videos. This is just going to be a box standard showcase to see what he can do, the type of numbers he's putting out. And then I'm going to do essentially like a part 2 where we see how he does, to be fair, on his own, but on his 200% lead, on a 200% lead. Now there's 200% leads in global. There's only one. And you know, and Majin Buu Saga Gifted Warriors isn't that big of a 200% lead pool. The Vegeta family one's great. There's a lot of fantastic units. But now we've unlocked some new content where I can try, for example, my boy Super Vegeta on a 200% lead to see how he does. And then eventually when I like rainbow him out, we can try him again. When I level 10 link him on 200%, we can try him again. See how they improve. See the step up from 170 into a 200% lead. So there's going to be a whole bunch of new content coming out, like coming your way and my way. Now there's 200% leads in the game. As I said, we have our first one now, so we're very premature in the 200% meta. Like, we don't have the year 7 LRs yet, or Ginyu. We're going to be having our only 200% lead being my boy MV for like the next 4 months, 4 to 5 months. So it's very premature, but baby steps. So we're going to take our time with it. As I said, we're going to see what we can do on a 170 pure showcase. Then we're going to see him on a 200%, see what he can really do. And then we'll start using some other big hitters like Super Vegeta, you know, SSB when he eventually gets his EZA. We'll try him on 200% leads and see how they do. But we're going to hop into the original Goku event and test them out.
Trunks, I haven't hugged you even once since you were a baby. Let's embrace it.
Come on, Dad. You're embarrassing me.
Take care, my son.
Oh.
Those animations, man, they are so good. They are so sick. As Vegeta fans, you know, I have to say, when it comes to animations, we're always eating good. We're always eating good. So, of course, we've got the Trunks on the team so we can get the entrance animation off, which means we are getting 30% damage reduction for the rest of the battle. In terms of how you want to set him up, ideally, you probably want him... I mean, he can work both ways. The best would be slot 2. But going off his passive, he can work well in slot 1, especially if you have the damage reduction from the Trunks and the damage reduction for obtaining 6 or more key spheres. So if he has both sets of damage reduction, then running him in slot 1 should be no problem at all, especially because he'll have attack and defense plus 180 at the start of turn, which is pretty decent. It's a decent starting point. He'll have 30% damage reduction immediately on top of that, which for slot 1 is okay. It's not perfect. Like for right now, he has 123k defense with 30% damage reduction. So for the most part, he can handle himself in slot 1. If you were doing a harder event or like deep into GT Goku event, actually I say that he has type advantage, but you know, if he didn't have type advantage, he would probably still take quite a bit of damage. He wouldn't get you killed, but he will still take a solid amount of damage, but I don't think you would have to worry about him too much. When it comes to red zone and that, I'm probably not going to touch on that because I don't know. We're actually one key sphere off getting the extra damage reduction, but it's okay. But turn 1, 230k attack stat, 123k defense. We have every single link active right now apart from over the flash, which is actually quite important for him. I mean, if you look where his key is right there, we need what? How much key? We need like what, 5? Yeah, 5. So that over the flash key link is actually really helpful considering it gives key plus 3. But we'll give him that. And how much does he have after picking up the key spheres? 345k defense. Bear in mind, this is at 55%. Again, on a 170 lead team. We're not on 200% yet. 145k defense. We'll give you these. And then we'll just give you these. So far, he's looking quite good turn 1. Again, bearing in mind, this is on a 170% lead team. 2.9 mil. Also, don't forget as well, we're not on 88% HP or below, so we're not getting the additional attack plus 88%, which is kind of, I mean, obviously ideally where you want him, which really isn't difficult to get him down there. The only thing is, with it being such a good kind of HP condition, and you don't have to lose too much, it's quite easy to build that health back up when you pick up same type key spheres and regenerate that HP. So it is definitely really good, and you know, when you're doing harder events, you know, and you're taking a lot of damage along the way in terms of Goku and Vegeta event and, you know, Super Battle Road SBR, it's going to be probably quite easy to constantly get that additional attack plus 88%, which is nice. But as I said, for the most part, it's very easy to make back, because, you know, you still have the majority of your health back. But as I said, in terms of ideally where you want to run him, as I said, he can handle himself in slot 1. If we didn't have a Trunks unit on our team, you probably don't want him in slot 1, because most of his kind of added attack and defense primarily comes after he super attacks. So if you do have a Trunks on the team, he can handle himself in slot 1. Will it be perfect? Will he be taking no damage, you know, null and void from super attacks? You know, deeper into an event like this, probably not. In ESBR, again, probably not, unless he has type advantage. Which is okay, you know, for the most part, as long as he survives, that's kind of all that's important. But, you know, it's not going to be like, you know, Easy A Strength SSJ3 Vegeta who takes no damage in slot 1 at all times, or one of the Golden Freezers who have damage reduction. It's not going to be like that. But he will still keep you alive. If you don't have the Trunks on the team and you don't get that 30% damage reduction, you do not want him in slot 1. Especially late on. So now we have like the ideal rotation, which is of course him fused. Now this rotation is so good because obviously they share all the same links. They're both very good units, especially this guy, level 10 links, rainbowed. He's actually amazing. Like, I can't wait to try him on a 200% lead team. So this is ideal. The only thing that isn't ideal about this rotation is they're both key hungry. They both need orbs to get their passive off, like to get them ideally set up. So while it is a good rotation on paper, unless orb placement isn't in your favor, which sometimes it's not going to be in these events, it's not the best rotation to run him on, unfortunately, even though it does work so well. Unless you're going to kind of accommodate and kind of force feed them both by having item changing, you know, orb changing items, which obviously in hard events, you're not going to do. So I was going to say, let's get his 6 key spheres, but it doesn't actually matter considering we have type advantage here. So in terms of seeing him tank, I mean, we're probably not going to see him tank too much here. Just because, you know, we're in the original Goku event, we're in the early phases. I mean, if we get deep into it, I could probably see 3.8 million. So we were definitely on 88% HP or less. And obviously, that's pretty good. You know, for a unit that doesn't stack, there's no build up. It's just get these amount of orbs, or no, technically, be at this HP or less, which isn't even, as I said, difficult to get to. Pick up your orbs and super attack. No build up, that's actually pretty decent. Is it as good as some other units in the game? I mean, when you look at the perspective of the Year 7 LRs, especially with JP, you know, having this Majin Vegeta come afterwards, obviously there's a bit of a step down, and, you know, probably Ginyu as well, but Ginyu stacks. So in terms of like global right now, he's actually got pretty good damage output. In a few months time, when we start getting more 200% leads, you know, you have the Year 7 LRs and Ginyu, is the damage going to look as good? Obviously not. But his damage output isn't bad. You know, it's not ridiculous, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. As I said, bearing in mind right now, he is on a 170% lead team, and he is at 55%. So 3.8 million, in my opinion, is pretty good. And don't forget as well, defensively, he is also pretty good. So to have that kind of really good synergy and balance, my boy's looking pretty juicy, if you do ask me, if I do say so myself. But as I said, this is still on a 170 lead team, so I'm impressed. So yeah, ideally, you probably want him in slot 2 to make him as best defensively as possible, especially if you don't have the 30% damage reduction from having Trunks on the team and having that entrance animation. If you do have that 30% damage reduction, as I said, he can handle himself in slot 1. We're actually going to get our health quite low here because I'm not quite, well, no, quite low. So we're always going to have that, you know, attack plus 88% right now, which is good. So he will be able to handle himself in slot 1 with both sets of damage reduction, because as I said, that's 180% defense. Before he supers, which ideally gets all of his additional attack and defense, that will be 50% damage reduction and 180% defense at the start of turn. Which is pretty good. I mean, you've seen it with Easy A Future Gohan with like no defense and 58% damage reduction. he's amazing. He tanked everything really well. So it's in slot 1 defensively when it comes to Super Battle Road, it comes to Goku and Vegeta event. If you have both sets of damage reduction with the attack and defense plus 180 at the start of turn, he's going to be tanking fantastically throughout. If you don't have the 30% damage reduction from Trunks, early on he'll do well. ESBR and further into Goku and Vegeta event, you probably want to move him in slot 2. But that's where he kind of works ideally. So right now we do have the support, which has us on a 335k attack stat and 140k defense. And we are also getting 6 orbs. So after he super attacks, he's going to be in the best possible setup he can be, which is attack and defense plus 180, damage reduction 30 and 20%, so 50%. When he super attacks, he gets attack and defense plus 50%, which is multiplicative with his flat passive. Since we've got 3 or more key spheres, he's also got defense plus 50%. So now we're on 162k defense with support. So without support right now, he'll probably have like 140, 130k defense. But we've got the extra defense from the 3 or more key spheres obtained. And since we can obtain 6 or more key spheres obtained as well, of course, we've got the 20% damage reduction, and of course, with our health P, health, I was gonna say health P, combined health and HP. With our HP 88% or less, we have the attack plus 88%. And not to mention, when he supers, he raises attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. So ideally, you probably want him in slot 2. But as I said, if you do have both sets of damage reduction in slot 1, he can handle himself fantastically. 4.2 million attack stat. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Again, when you think about how... we're actually going to see how good he can tank after supering here. Literally double digits. I know it's SSJ3 in the original Goku event, but still, there's some units in the game that will still get clocked for a little bit of damage there. He literally took 83 damage. And this is what I mean. So, you know, when you're running him in SBR and you know, Goku event, Vegeta event, if he has the damage, if he has both sets of damage reduction before he even like super attacks and gets the extra attack and defense and, you know, defense, etc. Do you know, I'm actually gonna make sure you don't super me. No, I can't do that here, can I? No, we're gonna usher. We're gonna usher. I don't want to take too much damage. Also, I'm not gonna really be picking up the most orbs. Kind of wanna hold on to them. But yeah, so he'll do well in slot 1 before he even, you know, gets to his like pinnacle with his defense. And then of course after he super attacks, if there's more attacks, he's gonna be at his best. But I think slot 2 is ideal, especially if you don't have the extra 30% damage reduction from having the Trunks on the team. Which, if you're running him on a 170 team, getting that extra, you know, 30% damage reduction from having a Trunks on the team is very easy, because that Trunks isn't restricted to Kid Trunks. That's any Trunks. So on a 170 team, considering he's on, you know, I'll get out for reference as well. Considering he's on the likes of Majin Buu Saga, especially Vegeta's family, Gifted Warriors, Super Saiyan. Actually, no, Super Saiyan 2. I mean, to be fair, that's only the crossover one. There might be another one in there, like Unconnected Hope. You can have any Trunks. It's not restricted to Kid Trunks. You know, you can have the Easy A Fizz one, who's very good. Works actually really well here. Done videos on it. You know, you have the Easy A Tech SSJ one, who's absolutely ridiculous. You know, the new Dokkan Fest one who came out, you know, not too long ago. On a 170 team, getting that damage reduction off is really easy. You can't do it on the majority of his categories, but there's some good categories, of course, that you can run any Trunks on a 170 league team. As I said, like Vegeta's family being the main one, Gifted Warriors, you know, Majin Buu Saga's got some decent Kid Trunks on there. There's not many, but it's obviously a lot easier because it's not restricted to a Kid Trunks. Now, the passive isn't restricted to a Kid Trunks anyway, but here's where the 200% lead kicks in, and, you know, not a lot of units falling under the 200% lead kind of problem kind of creeps in. So we're going to pop his active off, and I'll carry on explaining what I was explaining after we hear his active. Take a look at how amazingly, I mean, we've seen him already, but just watch him again. It's so pretty.
I know how to be rid of you now. For good. I'll keep you from coming back this time. I blow you to dust. Farewell, Bulma, Trunks. Even you.
As I said before, us Vegeta fans really do eat good when it comes to animations. Like, we really do. You know, what's great about his active skill is that it's such a good active skill, and it's actually going to make him a monster in Super Battle Road. You know, you have a guaranteed crit in the turn, which not only takes place, of course, on the active skills you just saw, which over 2 million on a crit on a free to play on a free dupe unit on a 55% unit, pretty good. But you have crit for the rest of the hits. I think pretty sure for the rest of the turn as well after you use his active. Not only that, he'll greatly raise his attack temporarily as well, on top of the damage he's already doing. And then not to mention, it's an AoE. So, and he guaranteed stun. The only small price you pay is sacrificing 18% HP, which is incredibly easy to make back by picking up same type orbs. So in Super Battle Road, he will be a monster. I can't wait to try him there, because not only is he going to AoE everyone and hit him for big damage, because he guarantees a crit. So if you have dupes in, you're up. You're very up. Not only is he going to greatly raise his attack temporarily as well and do more damage, but if you manage to survive in Super Battle Road, when you think about how many enemies are there, he also will guaranteed stun them. And not to mention, the health bar isn't going to look too healthy after he hits them, and they're going to be stunned if they survive. So his active skill is really, really good. So right now he has a 453k attack stat after using his active, which obviously is really good. He's got 184k defense, no support, 7 orbs. The attacks are coming after in slot 1 as well, but it wouldn't surprise me if Majin Vegeta actually kind of kills Goku here. But what are we saying? What numbers he's putting out now? 3.8 million. 3.8 million. But yeah, ideally, I said, as in like the pinnacle, like that guaranteed crit is honestly amazing. 3 milli. I mean, he has type of edge, but having guaranteed crit for the rest of the turn, I mean, you've seen how good it is with Super Vegeta. His active skill is really good. Even the condition is pretty good as well, you know, can be activated after he's received 6 or more attacks, which, you know, in Super Battle Road, with the amount of attacks you take, if you have, you know, both sets of damage reduction, then you can just literally let the guy just tank everything, and then you'll get it probably earliest by turn 3, you know, if you're taking, you know, that many attacks in Super Battle Road. But, you know, ideally, his best place is slot 2, or, which doesn't happen too often, slot 1, but the attacks come afterwards. But slot 2 is kind of at his pinnacle, because if you put him in slot 2, and you have both sets of damage reduction, as I said, you're going to have the attack plus 180 from his flat passive. You're going to get the additional attack and defense plus 50% from the super attack, which is multiplicative. If you get 3 or more key spheres as well, you know, if you check all these things off, that's an extra 50% defense after picking up 3 or more key spheres. You pick up 6 or more, you also get the additional 20% of damage reduction, and then you raise attack and defense on super by 30%, which means he's got all that defense and the damage reduction on top of that, and then gets hit, which means super attacks will be doing probably nothing to him. You put him in slot 1, he will still tank really well, but he doesn't have the additional attack and defense plus 50% from super attack. He doesn't have the raised attack and defense on super, but he will still tank incredibly well. But of course, if you don't have the Trunks on the team and you only have 20% damage reduction from picking up 3 or more key spheres, you probably don't want him in slot 1, and slot 2 again will be his pinnacle, and he will still tank incredibly well even without the full damage reduction. You know, the only thing with, as I said, what I was explaining earlier is with the 200% lead right now and having, you know, any Trunks, it doesn't really work out that way, because, you know, with it being Vegeta family and gifted warrior units and Majin Buu and gifted warrior units to get the full 200% lead, unfortunately, no other Trunks apart from Kid Trunks go on gifted warriors, which I'm not saying that's that bad. You know, it's not as restrictive as you think, because there's a lot of good Kid Trunks units. You know, we have this one who works really well with the Goten after easy-Aing. You know, the Tekken INT Goten and Trunks work really well again together, and the Goten fits on a gifted warrior Majin Buu Saga team as well. So it's a little bit restrictive, but it's not that bad compared to like Easy-A LR Majin Vegeta's passive when it comes to, you know, Bulma, Trunks, and then Goku parts easy, but it's not that restrictive. But, you know, with there, as I said, being limited 200% category leads right now, you know, getting that damage reduction off, the extra damage reduction for having the entrance animation with the Trunks on the team, it's not really not as easy, but it's a little bit more accommodating for him. But all in all, I'm impressed. Good damage output, and again, this is on a 170 lead team. I'll do a 200% right after this. That's on a 170 lead team. Great defensively, good damage output. You know, is it insane? No, but it's really good. Active skill was amazing. I said he's going to be a monster in Super Battle Road. I'm impressed. As I said, there's some minor flaws. Some of them may change over time, but you know, we've only just got into the 200% lead meta. Not to mention global, we're gonna have literally only this one for months. So we're just gonna have to be patient. But does he have some flaws? A little bit. He's still an amazing unit though, and his animations are, for me, perfect. Let me know what you think of him down in the comments. I'll see you next video, guys, and peace.